When I went to college in 1971, the University of the Philippines was the seat of the radical movement. Their belief is that if you change the system, you will change society, that what the country needed was a change in the system. And there is no way you can go to the University of the Philippines and not be exposed to the radical movement. It's all over campus. I can remember as a physics major at that time taking an exam in physics that says something like this: a police officer is on a building so many feet tall. At what angle should he aim to hit a demonstrator so many feet away from the building? So you can see even in exams that their voice was very loud, and I was one of those that thought that maybe they are the answer to what the problems are. And so I got involved with the radical movement. We marched in the streets of Manila asking for change. But as I got to know the leaders in the movement, I found that they were very selfish and very self-centered. And I realized as I watched them that I was very much like them. And as I looked at my life, everything was on track. But the happily ever after did not follow. There was only emptiness. And around this time, one of my classmates told me that she had a personal encounter with Jesus Christ. And she wanted me to meet the person who told her about Jesus Christ. I didn't have any other option, so I went with her to a Bible study where I felt like God was speaking to me. The teacher was teaching that instead of crying for a bloody revolution, we could talk about a revolution from within through Jesus Christ. And as I look around that room, I saw a picture of a changed society. As I talked with more students after the meeting, I realized that they had something I did not have. And they had a relationship with Christ that I have never experienced. And as I listened to them, it was like a balm to my troubled heart. And I wanted what they had. So the next morning in another Bible study, I fell in love with Jesus Christ. And I trusted Him as my Lord and Savior. And immediately, He gave me peace of heart and mind. That was a Saturday, and every Saturday at 1 o'clock, we have a meeting at the University of the Philippines with my radical group. And so, as I've always done, I went from that Bible study to this meeting on campus. But on my way there, as I understood what has just happened to me, I decided to follow Christ all the way. And I was gonna quit the radical movement. So I went there, and one of my professors, who was a leader in the radical movement, met me and asked me to take a leadership position. They wanted me to be in charge of propaganda for the movement. And I very calmly told him, "Sir, I just came here to tell you that I'm quitting." And he asked, "Why?" And I said, "I have decided to follow Jesus." And he looked at me as if I was crazy, and he said, "Anything but that?" And he walked away shaking. What is interesting is that God saved me just at the nick of time. What I did not realize at that time is that President Marcos was going to declare martial law.
To build a new country, a new nation, and new people.
And the day before it was publicly announced, he had his political enemies, the leaders of the radical movement, arrested. And had I not become a Christian at 11 o'clock, by 1 o'clock, my name would have been on the list of leaders of the radical movement. And I would have been one of those arrested. But God saved me just in the nick of time. And that was the beginning of a new adventure in my relationship with Christ.